We're looking at video of a drone shot that was taken over Kerr County, where flooding has impacted most of that area. Confirmed death count right now 120, with even more missing. And Jamie, we kind of wanted to talk about the impact of what happened in Texas and relate that to kind of back to the Ozarks and other historic events that we
Yeah.
have seen recently.
Yeah, because I mean, this is clearly a tragic, major flood event, but this is an event. This happens. This happens. And it's happened throughout. Previous decades. It's happened on this river, but we've also seen it happen in other parts of the country, and we've even seen this kind of thing happen in the Ozarks.
Yeah, we have. It's just not to this scale.
Right.
We were talking earlier. The Guadalupe River rose 26 feet
In 45 minutes.
in 45 minutes.
And that is, I mean, think about that. Think about every minute that goes by that you're trying to scramble to get out of a situation, and the river is rising that fast. 26 feet in 45 minutes. So, I mean, you're looking at what's the math on that? I mean,
You want to know like the cubic meters of water that's just flowing? It's
almost
incredible.
it's almost like a half a foot. It's almost like a half a foot a minute that the water's coming up, and it's probably coming up in surges. So it's like it may come up a little bit, and then it comes up a lot, and then it may come up a little bit, and then it comes up a lot.
And the part that made this so deadly too is it was a nighttime flooding event. People are camping. It's 4th of July. They're wanting to put their RV right on the river. It's a beautiful spot, and then.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's how does such a tragic thing happen? And you look at like all of the facets that fell into place for this to happen. Like you mentioned, it's a holiday weekend. You have a lot of people camping. Well, people like to camp along the river. I mean, it's a pretty spot. It's accessible to all the river stuff that you want to do. So you put a lot of people on the river, and then you have a nighttime extreme rain event, and you have this extreme rise on the river, and this caught so many people off guard, and for some it happened too fast for them to take adequate action.
Earlier today, I kind of talked to you and I go, have you seen anything like this? Because you've been a meteorologist for about as long as I have been born. And I haven't seen anything to this scale. And you go, yeah, you brought up Albert Pike. And here's a video of kind of the Albert Pike. Some people may remember this. This was in Arkansas, in
West Central Arkansas.
West Central Arkansas, June 2010, where 20 people died in this situation rather than the 120, but it's very, very similar, where you had a nighttime rain event. They got the river down there rose 20 feet in about 4 hours, so pretty comparable to what happened in Texas.
And it happened in that case between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. This is a time of the night where most folks have gone to bed, and they're not aware of what's happening around them because they're sleeping. And of course, we saw that with this event in Texas. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever been camping and been woken up, or maybe even you're in your own, in your home, and you're woken up suddenly by someone because something's happening and you need to take quick action. And it's just, when you wake up in a situation like that, you don't know what to do. You don't know what's going on. There are precious moments that are going by where you're just trying to assess what's happening before you figure out what you need to do next. And it's just, I really feel for those individuals in Texas that woke up to this nightmare scenario, and they just didn't know what to do. They didn't know what was happening, especially these children that had never gone through anything like that, that weren't aware of these kinds of things and didn't know what to do in this situation. And it was just, I mean.
And we got to talking because as meteorologists, it's 2 jobs. You want to make sure you get the forecast right, and then you want to make sure that you're getting kind of the response out of people to prevent tragedies. If we can forecast a tornado is going to come, that's great. But if we can't get people in shelter, what's the point of that? And we're saying, what do you do in these situations where it's kind of the worst case scenario? You're having an immense amount of flooding that's happening at nighttime. And you kind of pitched out the idea of there needs to be some type of siren. There needs to be some type of alert system, because most of the time when a flash flood warning is issued, people don't say, all right, I need to immediately go to higher ground. They don't react until it's too late a lot of times.
There's such a vast spectrum in flooding. I mean, it's just like with tornadoes. I mean, you can have little tornadoes that do very little damage, and then you can have these monster tornadoes that you can't survive. It's the same thing with flash flooding. I mean, you have these flash flood events that that can be small in nature, and it happens during the day, and you figure out how to navigate through that situation. And then you can have some situations like what happened in Texas that are so extreme that you know people haven't really had to deal with before, and it you know in some cases dealing with it was just insurmountable. So again, kind of going to your point, I think maybe we need a better way to warn everyone. Not just people that are aware of what's happening with the weather, but also with people that are not aware of what's happening. In this case, the flash flooding, tornado sirens, civil defense sirens. Actually, they seem to work pretty well for some in cities that have a siren system. We have tsunami warning systems on coastlines where sirens will sound. I feel like maybe this is something that we need to look at for campgrounds, especially campgrounds that are along rivers that are prone to flash flooding. Even rivers here in the Ozarks, you can see very dramatic rises on rivers during flash flood events. Just go floating down the James River, and you can see debris up in the canopy of trees. So you're at water level, and you can look up, and you can see tree trunks in some cases still up in the boughs of these trees, in the canopy of these trees, just to give you perspective on just how high these rivers can go in our area. I mean, normally they may be 1 to 2 feet, but they can reach depths of 20 to 30 feet in a flash flooding situation, and these water rises can happen very quickly, and we have campgrounds in our area that are right at river's edge. So, we saw what happened in Texas. I think maybe there are lessons that are being learned there that we can apply to our area, and I think that may include the use of some sort of siren system, because we can't just count on the local park ranger or the campground owners to come knock on RV doors and shake tents to get people out. We can't count on that at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And that's the scary thing, is seeing Texas and knowing, as we're two meteorologists, going, we could get the same thing to happen here. And that's ways where we want to prevent that. And the siren system would help. Clear forecast helps as much as you can, but this is an absolute tragic event. We're going to keep following this. It's 120 is the last I heard on the fatality count. Still people missing, so still expecting that number to rise. Convoy of Hope has been doing some rescue missions, sending them supplies out in their way. So we'll have more information about that and what you can do to help out, more information about just kind of what's been going on in this Texas situation. We're going to provide that for you guys on our website, ozarksfirst.com.